In this video, I'm going to show you how I built a 10K per month coaching business, and that's cash collected. And this is around my lifestyle so that I can go for them spontaneous hikes and do all the stuff that I want to do during the week, but still have time for my clients. Because what I found when I followed other gurus or mentors or whatever is that they prioritize the hustle. They prioritize the being stuck in your business rather than the, like if you were wanting to maybe build it up and sell it sort of a way, but not the having the coaching business that you can do the things that you love and still have time to live your life around about it. Because it's really, really important to have that balance energetically as well. And that's one of the things that I'm all about, is the energetics, the astrology around business. So I started work back in 2007, and that was in psychiatry, where I was working with clients that were maybe struggling with their mental health and stuff like that. But I remember one tough night, and we'd been busy since the minute we started our shift. And then I got to a stage where it'd just been so busy, we were sitting down for the first time that night, and I was like, I will not retire from here. This is not going to be my retirement job. There is something else. I had that little burning sensation that wanted more. I knew that without going back to university and without doing all that stuff, that was my limit with psychiatry. So that led me to do what everybody does and type in, how do you make money online? Get shown loads of different stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I tried loads of different stuff. My first one was an affiliate marketing launch where I basically wrote a blog post and kind of forgot about it for 3 months. And then I did go back and check it, and I had made money. And that was kind of my proof of concept at that point. I did make 10K from that affiliate launch. Now, I say I went and forgot about it. I forgot about that individual blog post, but I didn't forget about the blog. I was still putting content on the blog. I was still building links to the blog. But that specific blog post, I wasn't doing any specific link building. I even forgot to hook up the funnel to it. And I still made 10K with that one launch. So that kind of got me, I started to talk about what I'd done to be able to do that. And that kind of put me into the marketing and sales niche, if you like. And I was just documenting my journey, ended up starting to take clients, because at this point I was trying to manifest this more that I was wanting from the NHS. But at that point I didn't know what that more was. So I was trying to manifest this thing. And but I was just saying, I just want to make money. I ended up manifesting clients and starting to work as a done for you marketing consultant for clients. And it was more freelance. I'll say that. It was more freelance than my own agency. So I did feel like an employee a lot of the time. But this, basically, I was doing that for like 10 to 15 years, working with 6 and 7 figure coaches, trying to get them to scale their business past 10K, 20K, 30K, all the way up so they can make their 7 figures and whatever. So, but that is where I learned my craft. That is where I learned all the stuff that I teach in the Unfuckwithable Coach program, which is basically what I'm going to give you a run through of today. But last year, I got to a stage where I'd had a bad, right, to kick it really off, I lost my 2 cats in 2023. Never really dealt with that. Kind of just ploughed straight back into work, kept going. And then I lost my partner at the time, and that was not lost. We broke up. And then after that, I continued to plough into work. And eventually, I felt myself wanting to push clients away. I was like, I just don't want clients anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do at this stage. I don't want clients. There was a few things that came into my head, and I was like, started to pursue astrology a little bit more seriously, instead of just doing the wee quick readings here for everybody or the wee phone calls. What's going on with the planets today? I was more doing proper readings for people on a professional level. And then here we are today, where I now have built my coaching business from last year to now. I'd say that I got to 10K in about 90 days. So I'm going to show you how I got here in this video. But first, if you're like, who is this for? Well, I have programmed the Unfuckwithable Coach program. It is not for a beginner. That is if you're earning 3 to 5K and you're hoping to scale to 10K plus per month. But I don't take beginners that are below 3K, because I want you to have some business there that we can work on to push you into the next level. I'm going to go through the steps so you can use this as free education for that if you want. If your nervous system is a little bit out of whack most days, where you find yourself like, I need a new strategy, I want to do this, I want this, and it's the offer's the problem, that's the problem, and there's no energetic alignment, then this is exactly for you. If you have got the business that is getting you 3 to 5k, but you're like, I cannot see how I can make this work without me being here for all these client calls, which means that you're not showing up fully for your clients because you're too busy trying to do all the busy work around you, this program is for you. If you have got a love for astrology or tarot or the energetics of business, then this is for you as well. I do tend to work with coaches, energy healers, and spiritual life coaches as well. Like I said, I've got the Unfuckwithable Coach program, which is a monthly program, and right now I can take 40 clients a month. And I don't know when you see this video how many of them spots are left, but there is space for 40 clients in there. Yeah, so watch this video, see what you feel. If you feel a connection, you want to speak more, come and DM me on Instagram. We'll have a chat. I will send you the information over about the program. But let's get into today's video and I'll show you exactly how I built it. So the first thing that I like to do with all my clients is to get into vision planning. It's the one step that makes such a big difference, especially because what I noticed when I was building my business the first time round is that I was enjoying it. I was doing all this stuff. I was getting all these clients. We were working with content funnels and all the stuff, copywriting, and I was enjoying it. But then it gets to a stage where you've done all this stuff and then you look back and you're like, what the fuck happened to you? This was not what I started. Like I said to you, the first thing I'd done was affiliate marketing, where I wrote a blog and then I made money from the content. That is the kind of lifestyle I was wanting. And now I'm like, well, I like coaching. I like giving my time and getting that deep relationship with my clients. But the only way I could know that is if you actually do the vision planning. Now, fast forward to today, this is where my clients and me will sit down and we'll go through their birth chart so that we can see what their alignment looks like to help them create this business around their energetic alignment. Their goals come into that as well. What are they actually trying to achieve? Obviously, they want money, we know that, but what's the deeper reason for doing this? Is it that they feel like there's something more that they can't get anywhere else? Is it that they are wanting to be able to live remotely? Is it they want to travel? What is the lifestyle? Is it you just want time with your family more rather than having to be working 24/7? But knowing what that lifestyle looks like. And I think that's another thing as well. When I was trying to lose weight, I never lost weight. If I lost it, I would always put it straight back on. Whereas now I'm just like, I am a healthy person. I am lean, I'm athletic, I'm all this stuff. I've never missed a workout since then. I go hill walking frequently, consistently, and I'm doing all this stuff because I'm doing what the person who is in the shape I want to be in would do. And that's not on a diet. My weight will come when it's good. I just want to be a healthy person. Yeah. And that's the exact same with business. You need to get yourself into the alignment of somebody who's already earning what you need to earn. If you're like, I want to hit the 10k, but then you're acting like somebody who's still an employee who's not getting 10k per month, then that's only going to get you so far. And then you'll hit that point that you're at just now, and then you'll go back again. So it's really, really important that you get the alignment and the energetic alignment first. And that's what the vision planning is all about. The best way to do this, if you don't have that astrology knowledge, is to look at it on a surface level. Like, what do you want? Ask yourself, what do you want? And then when you say money, go deeper. Why do you want the money? Because I want this. Why do you want this? And keep on going until you can't answer any more. Yeah? If you can still answer why you want these things, then you're not deep enough. But once you know what that reason is, it makes it much easier. You can get a lot more passion behind it as well. The next step is, who do you actually want to serve with your business? Like for me, I tend to serve coaches and healers. And I know my audience very, very well. And if you think that you're going to come out here and try and speak to everybody, you're going to take twice as long to get to any sort of a level of 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K months. Because the thing is, for you to be able to speak to a wide audience, you need to water down your message like a lot for it to be broad enough to start speaking to other people. Now, what happens when you've got a small audience and you're speaking dead generic, dead broad, you start to attract fans because you inspire them. Yeah? When you are speaking specifically to one person, that's when you start to create a connection. That's when you start to make somebody feel something. I don't know how many times I've heard a client saying, I feel like you are reading my diary when in your content and your marketing and all that stuff. And that's exactly what you want to do. You should be able to write a day in your client's diary better than they can. And that's the way they speak, the language they use when you're in calls with them. Write down the words. If you watch content that they would watch, what kind of language do they use? And that is a really good way of starting to speak like them so that you sound like them, so that they can connect with you because they're like, he's speaking my language. Yeah? But if you're trying to do that on scale, like for a large pool of like a broad audience, that is 10 times harder to do and you will not be able to be as specific. But the 10K months, 20K months, 30K months with the lifestyle attached comes from being specific. Yeah? Once you've worked out who this person is, you can give them a name because when somebody's got a name, you do create an emotional attachment. And when it comes to speaking to them on content, like before I even start speaking to this camera, I will imagine that person is in front of me and say, hi, today we are going to look at how I built a coaching business to 10K profit, and then get into the video because it makes me start speaking conversationally. Now, an exercise to do as well is to look at where these people are when they first meet you. Now, if you do know your rising sign, this is where you're going to be the most magnetic. So look at the lower vibe qualities of your rising sign. So for me, it's Libra, overgiving, people pleasing. They need balance, harmony at all times. They'll avoid conflict at all costs. They freeze a lot of the time, and which causes them to people please. Their nervous system can a wee bit in freeze mode a lot. So these are things that to go through the lower quality of your rising sign, that gives you a good starting point for working out the problems that this person faces on a daily basis. Another thing that I noticed when I was doing this is that a lot of the time, the Libra are overgiving and doing all the people pleasing and doing all this stuff is they're doing it to prove their worth. They're doing it to be liked. They're doing it for external validation. So I know that I help coaches see their worth just as much as I help them get to the 10K months, because I can use all the energetic stuff that I've got to help them see their worth and build a stronger self-worth and scale their business at the same time. When you have that before picture, what does their life look like after you have your transformation? Yeah? And this is really important that you know how to communicate the before to the after that transformation. Because when you can say that in your bio and your YouTube descriptions, your YouTube bios, all these places, people start to connect with it. They start to think, oh, like that is exactly what I'm looking for. When you just say marketing consultant, helped so many people, there's no personal connection there. But when you speak exactly to where they are and where they want to go, that creates something then. Now, one thing that I used to do was I would have a whole suite of products. Yeah, I would have low ticket, free, high ticket, mid ticket, extra high ticket, crazy amounts of offers, single services. Oh, there was loads of them, yeah? However, what I noticed is I didn't need that as a coach. I needed one offer with 2 tiers of access, yeah? And I didn't create this. I got this from Dan Bolton, and he talks about this, and I loved the model, and I've ran with it. It's the inner circle model, where you have one offer that does solves your transformation. And what I've wrote down here, this is how I've structured the Unfuckwithable Coach, is I give 2 one-to-one calls a week. I then do 2 group calls a week. Now, obviously, when you first start, you might only have one person at that group call, so they're essentially getting 4 one-to-ones, but eventually that community will grow, and that'll be 2 group calls and 2 weekly calls. Plus they've got the community, and you can put modules in there as well. You can also offer Voxer support. Now, what I would say to you is, do not think, oh, I'm just going to do a group program. Yeah? Because if you just go in there and do a group program, you've not got the experience of teaching one-to-one, then you don't have a strong enough curriculum to be able to do it at scale or do it one-to-many. So do one-to-one first, I'd say, until you've served at least 10 people. And then once you've served 10 people and you've got testimonials and you've got results, then you can try it at group. But I love the 2 one-to-one calls because it means I get that deeper relationship with them. It means I get to help them where they're struggling the most. It means that I get that interaction to see what is actually going on with them in their world. Do they need to move a little bit more, or do they need to move a little bit less? Because that's the thing. I always talk about this. You've got masculine energy, feminine energy. Some people get stuck here, some people get stuck there. And if it's not balanced, then it makes you stuck, yeah? It needs to be balanced to create the energy, or energy will get stuck. So that is why I like the one-to-ones. But what you would have is you would have your one-to-one offer, and then if you wanted to add the group, you could have a group offer, which means you can serve more people, yeah? Which is maybe they'll get 4 group calls instead of just the 2, or you could just say 2 group calls a month, yeah? But it'd be a lower price. So that's the one offer with 2 tiers of access. Now, what I tend to do sometimes, and this is a way to sort of get people into my world, is what I call portal offers. They're little offers that open a little portal up for people to come into your world. Yeah, they're not high ticket. They're little low priced offers just to get people in the door. Now, what this does is when this portal opens, that you've got this low ticket offer or mid ticket offer, you open it. It could be a workshop. It could be a live workshop you've done for your community that you're going to then give away for a lower ticket price. It can be a PDF. It could be an ebook, whatever you want. But do not spend days, months, weeks building this. This is something that you record and you give away. It's a lower price, and what it does is it lets people test your energy. Because guaranteed, when you're a new coach and you don't have the credibility, you don't have the large following and all that other stuff, you're going to come up against skeptics, people that do not trust you. And yes, you can convert them over time with your content. You can, 100%. But if you're wanting to get to the 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K months, the time to get to that result will be a lot longer. So what I suggest is doing these little portal offers, which just opens that little portal, lets people feel your energy, lets people get a little bit of a result, and then positions them for your main offer, your soul aligned offer. For me, that's the unfuckwithable coach. For you, it could be whatever. Yeah. So these are less than £500. They could be like a one-to-one, like power hour, where you just sit down with them for an hour and you go through things. That doesn't take much time, and it can be set up super easy. I like that. I like to do workshops, master classes, and give them away for low ticket. That's what I like to do for portal offers. The next thing is your audience, and this is the part where a lot of people can get really stuck really, really quickly. They can get really, really overwhelmed, and they always want to sit and strategize in this part of their business. The thing is, you need an audience you need to build an audience for any kind of business. Yeah. If you don't have an audience, you don't have a business. So you need to build this. I use 2 platforms. I use Instagram and I use YouTube. Now for Instagram, all I am doing is posting reels, carousels, most days, and on the stories most days. Yeah. What I like to do sometimes, the more consistent you are with this, you might have quicker results. So I like to boost some of these posts, but only if I've got an automation set up that I can then, so they type in the word, they get the DM with a link to another YouTube video or a link to my email list or a link to somewhere. And I'll only put an ad on that kind of a post. But I like to do that occasionally because it grows the following. And in the early days, Instagram can be really, really slow. So when you're doing Instagram, what I would say is look at your top performing posts. If they do well, add them into the schedule again. Yeah. I'm not saying you copy that post and drop it down. I'm saying you take the idea, the concept, and you do it again. You try and be a little bit clearer. You try and make the post a little bit better. Yeah. But that's what you're always doing. You don't need to change it up. The thing is, the amount of people on Instagram that are going to have seen every single one of your videos is very rare. Yeah. So the chance of them seeing the two of them is thin. So if you see a video performing, redo it and just get better and better and better and better. I heard somebody who done this about 15 times in the space of like 2 months. And then on one of them times, it went viral. Yeah. Now, that's led me right into what I'm going to say is you do not need a large following. You do not need your video to go viral. You do not need all of this stuff that people think you need. What you need is the right people coming into your DMs or your funnels or whatever. You do not need anybody else. This is why I always say on my content, I don't care how many views, how many likes, how many all this stuff I get. What I care about is how many people I help. If I can help one person with every video, job done. This is a good video. So that's the Instagram side of things. Reels, carousels, stories, most days. Again, there are some people that I would say that maybe do 3 reels, 3 carousels, 3 reels, and then stories most days. The stories is the one you want to, because that's where you're nurturing, and because it doesn't go onto your feed and it expires every 24 hours, you can sell more in your stories, and it lets people know that you're around and you've still got an offer. Now, why YouTube? If you've got Instagram, why do you need YouTube? I like YouTube as a nurturing platform. So the people that find me on Instagram, I'll send them to YouTube videos, because this is time where they're going to sit down with me for 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on what it is. And when they're sitting down with me for that length, you think of the amount of connection you're building throughout that time. If you're still here in this point in this video, thank you. I really appreciate that. But you can see what I'm talking about. You'll feel a lot more from me than if you see me on an Instagram reel that was 30 seconds long. So I feel that this connection, the nurturing, the really helping, where they can get to see me, see my quirks, see what I'm like, is amazing. And I don't think any other platform can do it as well as YouTube. Yes, it's another platform to bring people in as well, because the YouTube algorithm sometimes does give you that little boost, and that is awesome too. And you can apply ads and do all that stuff in there as well. I don't really do it on YouTube. I'm not testing it yet. Maybe in the future I will. Now, once you've got all this stuff, you do need a little system just to make sure, and it's really, really soft, but it's to let you be able to sit into your feminine energy, let you switch your brain off, let you not have to be stressing over all the other things. And like I said, we get them onto YouTube, but we have a funnel that takes them and gets them to watch a video, just like the one you're watching just now. To watch that video, they can put in their email, their name, and then it will send it their way. This is a really, really good step, because then you can retarget them by email. The thing is, if any of these platforms decide to shut their doors, or decides to glitch, or decides to anything like Instagram or YouTube, which has happened, you can lose followers. When I used to work at an agency, one of my clients lost 10,000 followers from an Instagram glitch. That was 10,000 people she wouldn't get back if she wasn't keeping an email list. So how do we actually make money from all of this system? Well, what happens when you're building that email list up? You can then talk about your offers. You can tell them stories. You can test them with low ticket first, the portal offers, and then you can send them into your higher ticket program. Yeah. Thing is, that can all be automated. Again, allowing you to be able to switch your brain off and be more in that feminine flow energy rather than being in the masculine stuck doing energy. And like I said, when you've got that trigger word on Instagram, if you've boosted it, you're getting a lot of the triggers. These are people that you can then retarget as well. Now, what I tend to do to get people from my email list or get people from YouTube is I'll just say to them, come and speak to me on Instagram. Like I've said in this video, come and speak to me on Instagram, J Elliott Life. I've got links in the description on this video. And in my emails, I'll put a link there as well to my Instagram. Or if it's further down the funnel, then I'll just give them a link straight to the payment. Yeah, depending on where they are in this whole process. If they want for more information, I'll send them a Notion template that I've got, which has got a little video of me introducing the program and talking about it. And then it tells them all the information about the product or about the program. And then they can click the link and make a payment and come into the world, come into my world. What I'd suggest you do is on the front end, the top of funnel, your YouTube, Instagram, don't push more than free or portal offers. Yeah? When your actual program, you can talk about it, but I would do most of the pushing in email and the Instagram DMs. And then if they're coming through the DMs, send them your Notion template with all the information about your program, what they can pay, join your program, and then all you have to do is deliver. And that is exactly how I have structured my coaching business. I hope maybe taking notes, watch this again if you want. But if you're like, I want to talk to you about this, Jay, I want to see how we can work together, or you want to see what the Unfuckwithable Coach, you want to see my Notion template and see what it's all about, then come and speak to me on Instagram, or you can go into below in the description. You can click on that link, which will take you to my funnel, and you'll get all my emails and stuff like that, which will then take you to the Unfuckwithable Coach. So that's the two options I've got for you at the moment. Like I said, there's 40 spots. I don't know when you're going to see this video, but if you see it and there's still spots available, come and chat to me or come into my funnel and you'll be told whether it's a wait list or whether it's open and it's whatever. So come and speak to me on Instagram, or I'll see you in my funnels.